Hey friends, welcome to August. I'm here to give you the themes of the month, and I've pulled three cards that kind of embody what the month's theme is really trying to push through. And when the cards came through, I could feel my my logical mind and my human body being like, yeah, right. And it's so curious to me because it wasn't me. It wasn't my soul. It wasn't my connection to knowing. It was my human response to some of the positive words that came through for August. And it's so fascinating how our minds immediately want to combat and challenge any information that comes through that has a positive leaning. Hands up if that's you too. I know that that is something that I've been trying to rewire in my mind quite a bit. So I'm going to give you the three themes, but then I'm also going to speak to small things that you can do this month to kind of allow that voice to be coming up when things are happening, but also coming back to settling to knowing that that's not your truth. That's not the truth. That's not the whole picture. Which leads me to the first card. The first card that came up was diligence. And I want to add an extra word that comes into my mind when I see this, which is purview. So you can see that this is an image of a bird flying way above, like think bird's eye view, above everything, and having a big picture of the whole. And this month, for the most ease in your life, and to bring yourself to a space where you're feeling more grounded, where you're feeling more available to yourself, where you're feeling more settled, where you're feeling not thrown around by emotions or events that are happening in your life. And this is feeling like this is going to be a theme for the rest of the year. It's really going to have to do with honing that ability to come back into this style of perspective. Because at any given time, there's more than one viewpoint. There's the viewpoint that's right in front of you, then there's a viewpoint that your brain is creating, then there's a viewpoint of the person across the room, then there's a viewpoint of the child who has experienced things in a totally different way, and all of that collectively together creates a view. So this month, it's going to be important to take on some of the practices that will bring you back into a space where you can show up in your whole being without feeling thrown around with what's going on. Authenticity is going to be huge this month. You're going to be pushed and called and challenged into standing in your authentic self, which means knowing your values. Okay, if you don't really know what your values are or what that means, I'm going to invite you to Google, because there are tons of lists of words, and you can go through and you can choose some of the things that really stand out to you. These values are your filter through which you experience a grounded, fully embodied life. And it's not about pushing your values on other people or expecting other people to be the same way as you. It's just about you holding yourself accountable to your own desire to show up that way in the world. Because there's no one right way to be. Being authentic means doing what your heart calls, doing what feels right, speaking your truth, which is such a buzzword right now. It simply means that when you have something to say, that you can shift yourself into neutrality and compassion, not charged, not that you want to battle, not totally afraid because you think you're going to be attacked, but just a simple truth. I feel this way because, or no, that's not my truth. Can we change the subject? Or I understand what you're saying, I think, but here's what my perspective is. There's so many ways that we can compassionately speak our truth. And being authentic that way will allow us to find others who also are interested in finding a way to show up authentically. When we're brave enough to do it, it kind of sparks it in other people. And guess what? If they don't want to be authentic and they want to fight, they're going to be repelled from you, and you can continue on. So the more authentically you can show up in this month, the easier it will be for you to shift your perspective or expand your awareness a little bit wider than the one specific keyhole that you're looking for. And the diligence piece comes in through the practices that we're going to talk about at the end. But it starts with being aware of what your version of authenticity is, not feeling combative about it, not feeling like it's your job to create an awareness in everybody around you about what you believe and how you think and what you think it should be like and what they did to you and why, when they're that way, it's doing this to you and why that situation shaped you this way for the rest of your life. We're going to wipe that all clean and we're just going to come into who we are today, and we're going to allow August to flow through us in a way that brings our authenticity more to the forefront, and notice how settled it makes us feel and how it attracts those that are meant to be in our life and repels those that aren't supposed to be there, and how it draws experiences into our life and how it pushes other ones away, and how it's all just readjusting to us showing up as our authentic selves. um, the next card that came up was abundance. So the abundance card to me doesn't always have to do with material wealth. This has to do with things that you have been working on. It feels very internal. It feels like a lot of you are really trying to work on understanding the way that your mind works, working through past traumas, trying to understand the way that you show up in relationship, the way that you show up at your work, the way that you show up in your life purpose, really getting curious about some of those things instead of feeling victimized or flattened by a lot of them. And all this work that you've been doing, this self-awareness work, this grounding work, this finding ways to self-soothe, finding ways to calm, finding ways to build yourself up from the inside out, is going to lead to this style of abundance that this card is talking about. You're going to have an abundance of confidence. You're going to have an abundance of friendships. You're going to find that abundance of strength and courage. You're going to find wells of support inside of you that you have never experienced before. And this is the potential of August, to tap into your own internal abundance, because we are all able to find that comfort within ourselves. We can find that trust in knowing that it's not going to be things outside of ourselves that sustain us for the long term when it comes to how we're feeling, what we want to achieve in our life, how we want to show up in the world, how settled we become in our path and our purpose, figuring out why we're here, finding the people who are going to walk with us on that path, being open to learning the lessons that are coming along. That's the abundance that you can look for in August. The last one is miracles. Miracles, this card I'm really drawn to the rock more than the rainbows. A lot of what I just talked about in the abundance card is going to be grounded into your being. It's going to become more solid. It's almost like Spirit always shows me Super Mario. My kids love Super Mario. How they would get so far in the game, and then even if their character died, they would get to restart at that place in the game. They didn't have to go all the way back to the beginning. And you're starting to notice that that's happening in your life too. So you're doing internal work, you're figuring things out, you're healing things, you're leaving things, you're shifting things, and you're not having to go way back to the beginning. Even though your brain wants to tell you, oh my God, if I give all that up because we're going to lose all this, I'm going to have to go way back to where I was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, once I got out of high school, before I started high school. Like, your brain wants to take you way back and make you believe that you're going to start way back there, but you're starting to notice that you're up leveling every time. So even though you're kind of spiraling back to a place that you've been in before, it's just to revisit and remember the strength that you have built since then. And you're going to start noticing more and more that you're becoming solid in your learning, and you're becoming solid in your ability to recognize how far you have come. And the first practice that I would like you to start in August is taking a moment right now to think about how much you have overcome, how much you have healed through, how much you have learned, how much you have been willing to let go of. Both people, places, things, jobs, but also internally, versions of yourself that are still there, but they're not driving the car anymore. That's how far you have come. And it would even be worth it to create a practice, a daily practice, to really solidify recognizing how far you have come. Even this year, go back 2 years, Go back to before the chaos that started in 2020. Go back 10 years. Look how far you have come. That is your miracle. You are the miracle. And this strength within is going to grow and solidify. And the more that you are willing to look at it and pat yourself on the back, you're going to notice how much more strong you feel, more elevated, more clarity, not so foggy brained, just really present in the knowing that you've come this far and there's so much more to go and it's time to start dreaming it. I do also feel, I'm going to go back to this card for a minute. Part of the diligence is being willing to dream forward, to create future memories. Now that you've come this far, even though you know there's still going to be lessons, okay? It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That is the normal rate of growth. You can see it everywhere in nature, opening and then closing, opening then closing. It's seasons, but it's always moving us forward. So it's time to start creating those future events and throwing your excitement and your dreaming into what is coming and expect those miracles to show up. So here's some things that you can do. I already told you about spending some time patting yourself on the back, but that's easier said than done. Okay. One thing that is going to be the most beneficial for you is waking up in the morning, not turning on your phone, instead sitting on the edge of your bed and giving yourself a hug, feeling your feet on the ground, and pulling into your heart all of the gratitude that you can, that your skin feels the way that it does, that you're safe in your home, the room that you're in, the city that you're in, the country that you're in. You can imagine sending love to the people who are most important to you. You can imagine filling yourself with light. It takes 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Be open to receive the love coming back at you from the people that want to send it to you as well, because we're all doing this for each other in our minds. We just don't like to talk about it. People who pray are sending love. Anytime you think of a friend you're grateful for, you're sending love. Anytime you see a picture of something or somebody and it lifts your soul, you're sending love and you're receiving it. So just create that tiny little gap in the morning between jumping into your day, jumping into your life, getting your brain rolling, rolling, rolling. Wake up, feet on the ground, fill yourself with light, send love, feel gratitude. It literally takes 3 minutes and it will change things this month for you. The next thing that you can do at the end of the day is just call back all your energy. Call back everything that is yours. Send back everything that isn't yours with love. And imagine yourself wrapped in a cocoon of light and go to sleep. That's it. Okay. When you bookend your day this way, you're going to notice things changing. And I want to hear about it if you do it. And that's also where the diligence comes in, friends. Okay. Everything that we do right now is very habitual. And to break habits, it takes time to believe, first of all, that it's a habit we've created, not just something we have to do. And then we have to be intentional about creating new habits. And then we have to be diligent about carrying out that new practice until it becomes a habit. So that is August for you. I'm open to hear what resonated. If it doesn't resonate with you, you get to leave it right here. You don't have to take it along. Share this with somebody who needs to hear what August is going to look like. And I will look forward to chatting again soon. Bye.